Hi, friends. Hello, hello. Hi. This is Marina Shepelsky. This is my weekly immigration news show. And here we discuss all things American immigration, anything that has to do with legalizing in the US, getting US citizenship, getting a green card, the news in the political world, the news everywhere. Basically, anything that we can connect to American immigration. And also, at the end, once we're done talking to the news, which is usually about 10-15 minutes, I will answer your questions about immigration processes. Now, nothing in the show is meant to be an individual consultation. This is not a legal consultation. Nothing said here is meant as legal advice of any kind. For legal advice, feel free to schedule a consultation with us, but I will answer your questions and I will provide information. And people always ask me about waiting time, about news and things like that. So I feel free to talk to you guys. I love talking to you guys. Saying hi from Ali Kram, who's watching me from Chicago. And please write in the comments where you're watching me from. I really love reading about all the ends of the world you guys are watching me from while I sit in my basement in my house in New Jersey, in my home office, and talk to you and spend time with you. So it's awesome that people are watching me from all over the world. Last time I had people say they're watching me from Chicago, from California, from India, from Bangladesh, from Pakistan, from New York, from Boston, anywhere in the US. Mala is saying hello and saying she's watching me from New York. Amazing. New York is where my heart is, and that's where my office is. I grew up in Brooklyn and New York. I worked there for many years, and only recently I moved personally to New Jersey, but my office is still in New York. And Jesus Sanchez says he's watching from New Jersey, my home state, where I live right now. So today the weather here in New Jersey is super nice. It's been a few days. We are seeing a lot of news. So, Sai is watching me from Charlotte, North Carolina. Welcome to my show. And Augustine is watching from Texas. Love Texas. Actually, I really want to visit it. I don't know if it's going to happen this year, but next year I definitely want to visit. And I really want to drive across the United States and like an RV with my kids, show them America, myself discover America. I haven't been to many, many places. I've only been to like a couple of states, really, in the States. I want to see Texas. I want to see New Mexico. I want to see a lot of other places. Sometimes when you live in a city or in a state, you think that this is all there is. I have a lot of American friends who are born here in America. They're not immigrants. They don't even have an American passport. They don't bother to get a passport because they never travel. That's horrendous. And if you're an immigrant, you know that travel is very important. People are asking me about advanced paroles all the time. They want to travel. They want to leave and come back. They have a home here, but they want to come back. So it's very important. Miami, my second home, Senorita Maria. I actually have an apartment in Miami. So I'm always either New York, New Jersey, Florida. New York, New Jersey, Florida. That's where you'll find me. All right, I see a lot more people are watching now. So I want to talk about this new flyer that was posted by immigration courts. And it's interesting that they posted this. Well, it was actually posted by the Executive Office of Immigration Review. They're like the overhead agency, the boss agency, I should say, for immigration court. Chargeable immigration. And they posted this flyer. I will share it for people watching me on YouTube on my screen, so you could watch me. For people watching me on Instagram, I will just read it to you so you could see it later if you like. And I will post the link to it on Instagram so that if you have time after the show, I'm going to put it in my comments here on Instagram. Look at the comments on Instagram. I posted the link where you could see this flyer. Okay, if you're watching me on Facebook or if you're watching me on YouTube, You could see this flyer in front of you. So this is the flyer posted by the U.S. Department of Justice. You guys know that they're in charge of all the immigration courts, and this is talking about cancellation of removal 42B, which is the section of law that allows people who are in America over 10 years, doesn't matter how you came here, with a visa or without a visa, you're here over 10 years, you've never been deported, you don't have arrests, you've never been in immigration proceedings, you can apply for cancellation of removal, and they want people to apply. Now, you apply for cancellation of removal in immigration court, which means to me as an attorney that we usually will file for asylum. Once we file for asylum, we end up in immigration court eventually. While you're waiting, you'll be able to get a work permit, social. And once you're in immigration court, you will file an application. It's called an EOIR 42B application for cancellation of removal. Now, you qualify for this if you have a U.S. citizen or resident spouse, parent, or child. And you can prove that that resident or citizen, child or spouse or parent would suffer bad, unusual hardship if you had to leave the United States and they couldn't come with you. You are their caretaker. For example, if they have mental issues, if they have health problems, if they have other special circumstances, you are taking care of them. You're connected. Like that's cancellation of removal, and you cannot leave and leave them alone here. They would suffer an exceptional or extremely unusual hardship if you had to leave. Okay. Now, you also have to prove your personal good moral character. You don't have convictions of serious crimes. You are paying taxes. So, good moral character equals paying taxes. You can show tax returns for good moral character. And you can prove you were physically in US for at least 10 years. Believe it or not, sometimes that's an issue for some people, proving that they're here 10 years or more, but that's fine. Then it says 4,000 people a year are allowed or granted cancellation of removal. You will have to go to court and you will have to be approvable. If the judge finds you approvable, you will have to wait your turn before the judge can give you an approval, an order of approving your 42B. That may take 2 or 3 years, correctly stated on this flyer. So far, everything they're saying is true. If the immigration judge approves cancellation of removal, you'll be able to get a green card known as lawful permanent residence. And then once you reach the front of the line, your physical card, the green card, will be produced by USCIS and mailed to you. You will know about this because the judge will call you in and give you the order approving you. And usually what the judges say is the visa is not available, let's wait. When the visa is available, you get a phone call from the court, the judge clerk will say to your lawyer, hey, your visa is now available, come in, we'll do the order. And you have to come in, or maybe they'll do it on the camera virtually like this, and the judge will sign an approval order for your cancellation of removal, and you will get the order, and within like 6 to 8 weeks, USCIS will mail you a welcome notice. It will say, welcome to the United States, you're now lawful permanent resident, and then a physical actual green card. That's kind of not even that green anymore, but nevertheless, that's what happens. So I wanted to talk about that process with you guys because this is important that they themselves are now sharing this resource and you can read it when you have time. Zainab Love says good morning, and she's watching us from Florida, or he, I'm sorry, but it's pink, maybe it's a she. So I'm glad to see you guys. I'm glad to see everyone here. All right, let's see if there's anyone saying hello on Instagram. People are saying hello, but nobody is saying yet where you're watching me from on Instagram. Come on, Instagram people. Let me see where you are and ask me your questions in the comments. I see already people started asking me about the combo card for 5 years. Let's talk about that. That is in the news. So this week, USCIS announced, I'm going to pull this up so I can show you on the screen, to that they are increasing validity period for many people's work permits. Advanced parole is not really included there. They're only talking about the work authorizations or the employment authorizations. And I see good morning from Anthony from Pennsylvania. Good morning, Anthony. Thank you for watching us. Now, getting back to USCIS. The way they announced it is kind of weird. They announced it as like a fact sheet and as one of the things that the Biden administration wants to do as a tactic to like deal with this crisis that's on the border, right? If you guys check out my website, I have a blog there. You can check it out. I wrote a whole article about this, about the 5-year validity for people who are eligible. Now let's talk about who's eligible. They updated the USCIS policy manual to increase the maximum validity period to 5 years for the first and renewal employment authorization documents, EADs. So I'm going to show you on my StreamYard. You could see if you're watching me on Facebook or if you're watching me on YouTube, you will see this. So you will see the article. I'm reading to you from an article. Everything I say is usually only from like public information sources. I only share what is confirmed news. I never discuss like gossip or anything like that. Okay. So USCIS is updating the policy manual to increase the 5 years for initial and renewal employment authorization for certain immigrants or non-citizens who have authorized employment status, and those are refugees, parolees as refugees, asylum granted people, people who have withholding of removal, but also people who are waiting for asylum, so asylum pending, waiting for withholding, waiting for a green card adjustment of status through family under 245 section INA 245, and suspension of deportation or cancellation of removal. So applicants for asylum, applicants for withholding or removal, applicants for a green card adjustment of status if you have a pending I-485, applicants for cancellation of removal will similarly have 5-year work permits now. And I think that basically this starts right away. And they're doing this because this will reduce the amount of work that they have to do every time somebody files every year or two to get a work permit, okay? So they're doing this to reduce, to make it easier on themselves and make it easier for you, of course, to show somebody at your job that you have 5 years employment authorized and stuff like that. Of course, they're saying at the end that if you filed for a green card, for example, and your green card application is denied, your work permit is no longer valid. So yes, they're giving you 5 years, but during that 5-year period, if you're denied, your work permit becomes useless as invalid anymore. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing here. Hope this is helpful to you guys. That's because that was definitely in the news this week. Venezuela TPS was extended. That's in the news. So, Venezuela once again is redesignated for TPS. So if you're from Venezuela, this is good news. They're giving another 18 months from when it started, 2021. From now, another 18 months. And you have to show that the time that you had to be in the US was before October 3, 2023. So this new TPS designation covers all the new migrants from Venezuela that are here. They will not be able to get TPS even though they just came here, and they will get work permits and TPS and even advanced parole documents because TPS now allows for advanced parole. The new TPS Venezuelan designation will end April 2025. So this is really big news. Wonderful people from Venezuela. So, by the way, I have to say lately it's all been good news from USCIS because they're really trying to be more humane here. What else? Anybody filing for an extension of status, the form is I-539, or change of non-immigrant status. So if you're filing to extend or change your tourist visa or your student visa to another non-immigrant status, the form I-539, no longer they are collecting $85 biometric fee. I don't know why, but this $85 is no longer collected. Sorry. So that's in the news. Also, interesting piece of news because I get these questions here all the time. So a lot of people under the Biden administration who filed for asylum got their case terminated or dismissed from court for various reasons, because you had a bad case probably and your lawyer said to you, look, you're better off waiting for your kids to turn 21 or something else to happen, and we're going to dismiss or terminate your asylum case in immigration court. So you waited for years, then your case got to immigration court and you were terminated, you were dismissed. So congressional leaders wrote this open letter, and again I want to show it to you. USCIS asking for clarification about what to do about these cases. Like, what's going on with these cases? Because the person had asylum pending for many years. The case was dismissed. Some people still want asylum. Some people still feel that they have a case, So that's definitely in the news that the congressional leaders wrote an open letter to USCIS saying, please give us clarification what happens to people who had an asylum case, their case was terminated or dismissed by immigration court. What's next for them? They're like here without status, Okay, so that happened. So far, obviously, there's no answer to this, but nevertheless, that's in the news. Okay. Eitan wants to know, how can you apply for the work authorization if you're not being removed? You can't. You need to apply for something that has work authorization or employment authorized status with it. So if you like, give us a consultation, scheduling call. Give us a call to schedule a consultation. Eitan wants to know, how do we apply for cancellation of removal? Good question. As I mentioned, we file first for asylum. Asylum will be denied because you're in US over 10 years, so you didn't file within the 1 year, and they will kick you into immigration court proceedings. Once we're in court, that's when you file for cancellation of removal. So we begin by filing for asylum. Now, if you don't really want asylum, we don't get into too much detail of your case. We just do a skeleton case and file it. Anthony says he's watching from Asheville, North Carolina. Welcome to my show. Okay, I'm starting to get questions. I'll get to them in a minute. Good morning from NM. Good morning. Vanessa Rodriguez says hello. Okay, on Instagram, people are saying hello. I'm going to get into your questions now. I see that there's questions already, and I will start with Instagram today, just for a change. All right, so Rawa Khan says, my aunt applied for U.S. immigration visa 6 years back. When will we stand immigrant visa in the U.S. Embassy? Okay, so I assume your aunt filed for your mom or your dad a siblings visa for family unification for brother or sister of U.S. citizen. That's currently taking about 20 years So if she filed 6 years ago, you might have to still wait another 13, 14 years. And the same person, Rahwa Khan, is asking, is there a process that can make this expedited, like this family unification expedited? Uh, Sadly, no. Yeah, so they're confirming that it's for mom. The filing was by a sister, a citizen sister of a mom filing. So yeah, it's going to take around 20 years, unfortunately. Okay, now I have more questions on Facebook and on YouTube. Uh, Ali is watching us from Chicago. Thank you for writing that. Um, Navdeep Singh has a question. He says, hi, I have a pending VAWA with you guys and I want to apply for my dad for the U visa. Dad got robbed at a gunpoint and also he's eligible to apply advance parole, his work with a work permit. So your dad is eligible, Navdeep, and hello, and thank you for writing that you're working with us. Your dad could be eligible for the U visa if the police or the district attorney will sign sponsorship forms for him. He will get a work permit within 2 3 years, no earlier than that. The advanced parole, I think that he should get once he gets the visa. The visa takes 5 to 5.5 years. So your dad is eligible, but it's going to take him a while, unfortunately. Mariana says, hello, Marina. Is the sooner the better to fill out the DV lottery application? Oh my God, I forgot to say one major piece of news, Mariana. Thank you for mentioning this. Today is the first day the diversity lottery is open. If you guys are watching me from outside of US, see if your country is eligible, right? So let me just talk about who is not eligible. It will be easier to do it that way because the rest of the countries are eligible. So I have a list here. 1 second. I wrote a whole article. Check out our website blog. I wrote this whole article about it. Okay. People who are not eligible if you're from Bangladesh. So you're not eligible if you're from Bangladesh, Brazil, Canada, China, including Hong Kong born people, Colombia, Dominican Republic, El Salvador, Haiti, Honduras, India, not eligible, sorry. Jamaica, Mexico, Nigeria, Pakistan, Philippines, Korea, South Korea, of course, Venezuela, and Vietnam. Those people are not eligible. This year, for the first time, UK, Great Britain, is eligible and all its independent territories. And natives of Macau, SAR, and Taiwan are eligible. So if you're from those countries, you are not eligible, but you might have a parent who never lived in those countries. If they never lived there and they're a citizen of, I don't know, UK, for example, some eligible country, you can qualify through one of your parents or your spouse. If your spouse is a citizen of another country that is eligible, you can qualify too. Now, people are asking me who should apply, who should not apply. I'm going to record a video about that after the show today. So Mariana is asking, is it better to apply quickly for diversity lottery? If you are from a country that's eligible, or you can get eligibility through spouse or parent that never lived in your ineligible country, you should apply as soon as possible. Mariana, absolutely good question. Yes. Why? Because this ends, so the diversity lottery ends on November 7th. Begins today, October 4th, and it will begin in 34 minutes from now at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will end November 7th, right? So you have plenty of time, more than a month, to get yourself together and apply. You will need digital photos of every member of your family. If you are married, each of the spouses can apply separately, but you must list the other spouse in your application. You must list all of your kids under 21 and unmarried. If you have kids who live somewhere else, but they're your kids and they're not married and they're under 21, list them. You have to have digital photos of everyone. Fill it out on the official website for the Diversity Lottery 2025. And here's your chance to become a green card holder. You only need two things. You have to be from an eligible country, and you have to show that you have either high school education or equivalent. And if you don't have a high school education or equivalent, you have to show 2 years of experience in the job that would require like 2 years experience to be hired. Okay. So I'm just going to fix the camera a little bit here. So that's the rules of this lottery. Pretty simple. Now, who should not apply, right? Who has no chance to win? If you've been here unlawfully for many years, you shouldn't even bother applying. You're not going to be able to get a green card. If you were in pending asylum status for years, probably you're not going to get a green card, because if you leave, and you're going to have to leave to go to this interview for your immigrant visa, you're not going to get anything because you will have a ban, a 10-year ban to re-enter the United States, and you cannot file here because you're not in the kind of status that you can adjust status. So unlawful presence in the US for a long time, don't apply. Pending asylum for years, don't apply. Who should apply if you're within the United States? If you're here on a student or work visa, if you're on visa status, apply. You can get a green card within the United States without leaving. If you got paroled into the United States, apply. You don't have any unlawful presence. You will have to leave for the interview, but you don't have unlawful presence. They will let you back in if you pass your interview. So I will do a video where I talk about this in more detail, but not everyone who wins this lottery can get the immigrant visa and the green card. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. NM says, if USCIS cashed your check, does that mean that your VAWA and adjustments application is accepted? Yes, and soon you will get a receipt notice from them. Jesus says, hi, I'm receiving a prima facie. Is that a guarantee that I will receive a work permit and advance parole? Those are not related at all. If you file for VAWA, green card, and work permit, the VAWA application gets the prima facie. That is just an indication. It's like a message to you from USCIS that your petition is approvable. It's not approved yet, but it's capable of being approved. Like, it has the basics to be able to get approved. A work permit is dependent on your I-485 filing, your green card application filing. If you filed the I-485, if you did everything right, the check was right, you paid the fee, you filled out every page, you should get a work permit and an advance parole. Vanessa Rodriguez asked, hello, Marina. I checked my case status on the USCIS website, and I got a request for initial evidence from my green card I-485 adjustment of status application. Should I be worried? Vanessa, do not be worried. Initial evidence request is usually pretty basic, pretty easy to fix. And you shouldn't be worried. Maybe they're missing a copy of your birth certificate, or maybe only the translation was included and not a copy of the original document. Maybe something was not right with the affidavit of support you submitted. This is not a panicking situation. People get requests for evidence all the time. They're pretty easy to overcome at such an early stage. Don't worry. Aliyah Silla says, someone who's already in removal proceedings, how can he marry someone who is applying for asylum? What should he do? If you're in removal proceedings, you can marry somebody who's filing for asylum. The issue is the person filing for asylum is early in their process, and they're not going to be in removal proceedings anytime soon. So yes, you should report to the court that you're married, but I'm not sure if I can answer in the show how this will affect your case, in the long run, what the steps are. Give us a call for a consultation. We can discuss and decide on the right strategy for you. whether you should now do something and change something in your case in removal proceedings, or just wait for your own asylum and include them, or wait for them. Who knows? Maybe your case should be dismissed and terminated, waiting for your spouse, your soon-to-be spouse, to get to the asylum stage and win. We'll see. I cannot answer. This is a very complex question. Good morning, Marina. Kwaku Anand says, what is the number to call USCIS? USCIS has only one contact phone number. It's on every receipt notice that you will get. I don't remember it by memory. All right, we're about to give it to you. 1-800-375-5283 is the phone number. I'm going to copy and paste in the YouTube comments. Okay, here we go. All right. Mariana says thank you and you're welcome. Happy Life says, hi, ma'am. Thank you for your service for innocent immigrants. I have been waiting for my advanced parole application I-131 based on asylum pending since January 2003 from Texas. What will be the processing time? Pending asylum does not allow for advanced parole. It's not automatic, unlike TPS. TPS has automatic advanced parole. Asylum does not. But there's a big chance, unfortunately, that your advanced parole application might get denied unless you showed some emergency for which you have to travel while your asylum is pending. Now, I can't tell you normally how long advanced parole takes. I-131. It's taking about 10 months. And then it depends where your case is. If it's in Texas, it might be 18 months. So it's like between 18 to maybe 10. So 10 to 18 months. But you might get denied, as asylum pending status does not automatically allow for advanced parole. Okay, Eitan says, Marina, I'm really interested in cancellation of removal application. Would one still be eligible if they're over 21, overstayed visa, and are married? And I have both parents U.S. citizens. You are eligible because you have a spouse and parents. Now, if you call us for a consultation, we could explore why you can show, or how you can show hardship to the parents and the spouse without you. So do they have health problems? Are they on like medications? Have they had surgery, cancer? Are they going to a psychiatrist or psychologist for therapy? Are you taking them to their appointments? Are you the breadwinner in the family? We can explore that if you give us a call for a consultation. Please call us. My phone number is 718-769-6352. Okay, Instagram. People are asking me how I am. How are you? I'm great. Thank you for asking. Anthony says he had his biometrics 2 weeks ago. I had my I-360 VAWA approved. How long does it take to hear from USDA? Oh, I'm sorry, not VAWA, R1, religious visa. It depends which city you're in. It usually takes around a year, plus or minus a few months. Okay. More questions from YouTube. Santosh says, how many days did it take to get a decision on USCIS litigation case? You will hear from them. Your lawyer should hear from them in about 30 days. The first contact, anyway. Any update about U visa or registry bill? Nothing new, but I've seen that politicians are calling on President Biden to get this registry bill going. That's all I've seen in the news so far. Mariana says, I remember in one of my videos, I said that the confirmation number should be lower to be selected. Yes, so for the diversity lottery, if you win and you're eligible, if you're overseas or you're here on a non-immigrant status and you can wait, the lower is your receipt number, the better chance you have of being able to get the green card, because as soon as they open the interview period, they will start interviewing people. And if you have a lower number, they call you first. So it goes from lower to higher number. The higher number people get called later in the year, and the fiscal year might end by then. Another question by Fiona about the amnesty. For now, it's not happening. We're talking about government shutdown. Oh my God, yesterday, the Congress people, Republicans and some Democrats, voted to throw out the current majority speaker, McCarthy. This is a historical move for politics. I don't know if I can tie it to immigration right now, but it was a big political news piece. For the first time in like over 100 years of Congress, doing these votes, they successfully got rid of a speaker, and it's not clear who the next speaker will be. And of course, speakers are very important for passing laws. They're the ones who get the support for new bills, like an amnesty bill. So believe me, right now is not the time. They're worried about the amnesty bill. They're worried about the budget for next year. They're worried about having no shutdown. They're worried about the money for Ukraine right now. Immigration should hopefully come next year. Emily wants to know, would employment adjustment of status get a 5-year work permit as well? I'm not sure yet. We'll see. We'll see. Anna Badnaya says, good morning. I have a pending asylum application for over 8 years. Oh my God. I'm from Ukraine. Should I apply for TPS in case I win the green card lottery? I can adjust status without leaving the country. So 2 questions here. I don't think that you should apply for the diversity lottery, because even if you win, I'm not sure that you're going to be able to get the green card, because pending asylum status is not exactly a status. So even if TPS is there, it's not going to help you get the green card to a diversity lottery. So diversity lottery, probably a no. Okay. TPS, I would say yes. Okay. Now, what's going to happen to your asylum application when you get TPS? It depends on the judge and on the trial attorney. This morning, I read that DHS, Department of Homeland Security, released this big memo about saving resources of immigration judges and ICE attorneys, OPLA attorneys. So you're definitely not going to be on the priority list for deportation, which means they will probably close your asylum case and maybe even dismiss it if it's in court. So your asylum case will end basically if you get TPS. It sure looks like it. Do I think that that's a bad thing? I don't think so. I think TPS is a good status. You will get an advanced parole that you're not eligible for right now, and you will be able to travel. I think they will renew this several more times. And eventually we will see what happens. You can always go back to asylum and reopen it later if TPS ends. Who knows? There might be even automatic green cards for Ukrainians soon. So I think if you don't have the best asylum case, TPS is better. However, if you live in like New York or San Francisco and you have an amazing asylum case, it's well documented. You have medical letters to show you were abused because of your religion or because of your political opinion. If you can prove your protected group that you were in political opinion, persecution group, or you had the kind of religion that you were abused for. If it's a religious case, you have to show you are going to church here in US. You can bring somebody from your church to court. it's not worth giving up that case then forget about TPS. It's up to you and your lawyer to discuss. We can also discuss this, schedule a consultation, and make that move, knowing all the risks. Happy Life says, thank you. Emily says, will the I-539 still need to do biometrics since there's no fee? I think so. I think they will still be doing biometrics, but not collecting the fee for it. Halania Riff says, I'm not able to return to the US for 4 years due to health reasons. I don't want to abandon my permanent residence. What should I do? You have to apply for a returning resident visa with the US Embassy in your country, and you will have to prove why you didn't come here. And in fact, you were residing in another country. Because of health reasons, you're going to have to get medical letters, and they will examine you on this issue. Zainab says, I received my work permit for VAWA. Does it mean that I can receive my green card after? Not necessarily. You might get the green card after, but just because you have a work permit does not equal you getting the green card later. Manish has a question. He says, I got my work permit and travel documents. With my VAWA case, what's the next process? How long will it take? Should I get a divorce now with my wife? She's got anything against him? Your VAWA case is still open. You got your work permit and your advance parole. For now, we wait for your VAWA to be approved. You can get divorced. In fact, I insist that you do a divorce, but do it based on abuse, cruelty, inhuman treatment, domestic violence, whatever your state where you live says, okay? If your state doesn't have this, just get a divorce. A regular divorce will be fine. I don't think the divorce can do anything to you. I think your wife also cannot do anything else to you. I would just get rid of her, get a divorce, and move on with your VAWA case. The VAWA case usually takes about 3 years, plus another year for the green card to be approved after approval of VAWA. Talat says, I applied for my married brother and his family in 2020. How long will my I-30 petition, I-130 take? Depending where you're from, usually about 18 more years for you. Brother, sister petitions are taking about 20 years. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to the current visa bulletin. We're now in October 2023. And your brother petition or brother petition is the F4 category. So I'm going to share my screen here. As you can see, the F4 category currently, most countries, they're working on April 2007. So we're in 23, 13. Oh my God, it went above 20 years now. It's actually, what is it? 23 minus 7. No, it's less than 14. 23 minus 7 is 16 years. I'm sorry. 16-year wait. And whoever I was telling before, it's 16-year wait for people who are filing for siblings. But if you're from India, it's 18 years. If you're from Mexico, it's 23 years. And Philippines, it's 21 years. So depending where you're from, it's between 16 to 23 years. Sadly, India is in last place for these lines. I'm going to have to let you guys go now. I'm going to end my show by wishing you have a great week, and I will see you next week. Thank you for all your questions. If you have ideas for topics for me to discuss, write them in the comments in my videos, and we always look at those and decide what to record. Thank you so much. Become a subscriber, and if you have a complex consultation that you need, give us a call. We have a great lawyer team. Myself and other lawyers are ready to help you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.